Going.
All right, and welcome back to part 2 of episode 1 of season 2 of the Roundtable Discussion. We're here at Dale's place, sitting at his table. We're going to finish up Warmachine for the 40K player. Going into question number 4. What things do you feel need to happen or not happen, either way, to make Warmachine even more of an attractive option to tabletop gamers in general? Not necessarily people who have only played 40K, but just to tabletop gamers in general, or people who are on that fence, on that fringe of going, I don't know if I'm going to be a tabletop gamer or not. For this, we're going to go over to Lexicon.
I think they need more press. I really do, because you go to like Origins and you go to the other places, and all of a sudden you know 40K is going to be there. You know Fantasy is going to be there. This has always sort of been on the side, in the back room, kind of. It's never been out in front. It's never been out in front. It's always been sort of off to the side. So I think they really need to push their product. That's what I think.
Tony, what's your take?
I think all wargaming is like that. I mean, it's hard to believe when you're enveloped in it, but I mean, the way I got into Games Workshop was I walked past the store because I couldn't wait to go into the diner. I mean, that's how I found it. And sometimes I curse those days, but if I hadn't have done that, I would have never found the hobby, and nobody really knows about it. But I think they have the community, like we do on YouTube and all the forums now, that they get the free marketing. But the two main things they need to do is, number one, they need to stay private. They can't go public like GW for many reasons that I'll explain on my channel. Number two, they need to make their box sets. I think they need to launch into a plastic snap together, because the one thing when I did the review of Flames of War and Warhammer 40K and Fantasy and Privateer Press's product was the starter set. It's all metal, so if you've never touched the model before, it's incredibly frustrating to glue metal figures together without pinning. I mean, you know, we have our stuff falling apart. At this table, you probably have over 30 years of putting models together experience with stuff falling apart. So I could see it being very frustrating where it could be like, if I can't even put it together, I'm not going to play with it. So making them plastic and staying private are the two things that you.
Dale, how about you?
Just more exposure. They've done all their homework. They redid the book. The books, I haven't seen one, but everybody that I've ever heard talk about it says how beautiful the books are. They got a good product. They just need to pump a little more out in advertising or something to get that push, because more people tried it, more people be on it. All those GW boys will switch right over.
John, what's your take?
Yeah, just, beating a dead horse with a stick. You gotta war press, plastic fix.
Okay, I have 3 keys to success for them. The first thing is you need to get, the game itself has to be promoted by players. Like 40K has got such a huge community and so many forums and so many places to go to that no one feels disenfranchised and they can find all this information. So if players themselves started promoting the game, I think that would help out tremendously. The second thing that needs to happen is that they need to maintain what they are currently doing, and that is every single time they release a new rule set, release the base rules for every single army, so that we keep everything fresh and current. I'm going to tell you right now that was the most attractive thing about Warmachine. When I picked up the rulebook and I saw that everything from the battle group boxes was in the main core rulebook updated. GW totally slipped on the ball on this one. Warmachine got this right. Do not screw it up by not doing it in the future. The last thing, and one of the most important things, kind of goes back to what Tony was saying, and that is for intro players, you need to have some way to play the game without putting these metal models together that are top heavy. And if you're not experienced with utilizing super glue really, really well, you'll end up having a very much. A lot of you will be in your army because little layers of skin will flake off, and so if they were able to do a snap together or a plastic set, which the good news is they already started.
Grind.
Yeah.
Not just grind. Every single main army now has heavy warjacks that are plastic. So I think the transition for the battle groups is very, very close. Okay, question. I'm sorry.
Another thing that they did that was really cool is when they updated the rules, they got all the players.
Here's the
beta. You can have it.
Tell us
Test it.
what you want.
That's fantastic.
Tell us what we did wrong.
In fact, they did that. They did that.
GW doing that. Can you imagine that?
Oh.
My God.
Well, look at when Beast, perfect example, look when Beast of War did the 7 Days of Sanguination and went through Blood Angel's Codex with a fine-tooth comb. After hearing about, the Beastmen and the Skaven Codex and all the other codex of problems, there was 12 instances where they said, we don't know how this is going to be ruled. It doesn't say. They were doubting even that GW screwed up and that, the Sanguinar host and Mephiston were not independent characters. They felt that GW was so stupid that they left it out. Or if I Magna Grapple a tank and I Death Their Glory, the core rulebook didn't have this construct in it. No rules were written in there for the new rules they instituted in the Codex. I mean, when you're launching a product on day one, it has 12 defects in it.
But people still buy it, man. That's the trick.
Play through the pain. They play through the pain. And who knows why?
You already went and spent a car.
Yeah.
Like you said you already spent your car.
It's like they're laughing all the way to the bank. Well, like, here you go.
But if you look at the psychology of 40K players, the fact that you've already made this huge investment means that you're so resistant to hearing people tell you it's a broken system. It's not going to work for much longer. The way that they've changed the rules, the way that they've upped the prices, it's not a sustainable center.
No.
It is not. GW, Tony made the prediction on last year's RTD that
my kids will not be playing this game because it won't be around.
And this game, he means any GW product. Or 40K at least, right?
But the problem with theirs is their core rulebook is so much older than this new books. They come up with rules that aren't addressed in this book because they didn't exist until this book came.
The main point is if you're going to build the frame of the house, you can't then add additions on it. Right. You build the frame, you paint everything inside of it. You don't let little corners jet out, and the Warmachine does that. It contains
the same
book. All the army books beyond the main rulebook came out within like 2 to 3 months of the main core rulebook.
I think they even went as far as when they released it, if you took in your old rulebook, they'd give you a new rulebook. I think I heard that on one of the podcasts. I'm not sure.
I don't think they did that, but I think what they ended up doing was they exchanged cards out.
Mark 1 from Mark 2's they probably did just to get the new updated rulebooks and the new points because they wanted the game to fall in order for you.
But I heard there was a trade-in if you just bought, maybe it was if you just bought
because
the last 6 months.
Well, because I think the original Warmachine, if you guys had gone out there earlier, you could have downloaded the free book in PDF format. And it was in beta, so hypothetically there could have been slight changes. But from what I've seen, there hasn't been significant changes.
I got it less than a month ago. I know because I downloaded it at work. I don't know if I found it on the Privateer Press website, but I definitely know I did find it if you crawl the internet. I mean, it's definitely out there and it's available for you. They doubled the rule book, but have they made the game more complicated? I don't think so.
They didn't make it complicated because they included all the factions rule sets.
All the codexes are in here.
Yeah. For the battle groups and some extra models. But then there's enough in here that you could just get by without buying the codex.
But this is the main thing. If you wanted to play this on a small scale level, instead of playing a Monopoly at night or anything of that nature, you're going to actually be able to get a few friends together and go, hey, you know what? We're not going to play this as a full-scale hobby like any of us will do. But instead of playing Monopoly or playing Mario Party on the Wii, we'll each buy a battle group. It'll cost us $40 a pop. We'll each have the core rule book, and we'll play from that. And we'll just treat it like it's an advanced board game. And to be able to launch on that level opens up an entire new market where you can put this product in Toys R Us, you can put it on Amazon, you can put it in local stores, and you can hit a media that GW could never hope to.
How long did it take us to play a 4-way game? An hour and a half?
About an hour and a half.
You can't finish Risk or Monopoly that you set up in that one.
And everybody ended happy. And when your guy died and your game was over, you had no problem with it. You felt like it was totally fair and balanced. You didn't feel like you got cheated in any way. It's just the way it happened, and it's fast enough you can do
and Lexicon Lexicon didn't have an opportunity to play in the 4-way battle, but he did play in the 1v1 games. Yeah. In each one of the games that you played, wasn't a very, very close. It was a narrow game. Warcasters are typically left with 2 or 3 points of health left.
Tony played first time playing, he won. That was kind of beginner's luck a little bit, but
we read a roll wrong.
To be fair, it was his first time too.
Yeah, I just got offense either, but it's really easy to pick up and understand, and you can actually apply logic. Like, okay, does this actually work? And the one thing I say when everybody gets into a 40K or fantasy argument, throw logic out the window. This rulebook was not written with logic, and the codex certainly wasn't. So you can't say, well, logically, it would make sense if he's behind a wall and gets covered. No.
Yeah.
And War Machine and Horde you can.
In my third game of War Machine, I played against an experienced opponent and won. Because
Never would happen.
it would never happen in 40K.
No,
Never.
no.
That's why you wouldn't
because
have.
all experienced players play here.
But you wouldn't.
Telling it like it is, we might have to bleep a little bit, but if we did bleep, he said.
I mean, I can't. I mean, look how many articles are out there on you see them on Beast of War, on Bell of Lost Souls all the time. How to intro somebody into 40K gently.
You can't do it.
There's a way to do it because if you're an experienced gamer, you just want to pound it to them. Why? Because that's the culture you're in. Look at what people don't care. It's the rule set. Look at the Storm Harbinger, whatever that bird is.
We're only on the first part of the first question up for the second part.
It's a 5-parter.
Let's jump to question number 5. I'm going to really be using the fact that I'm a partner to the extreme. It'll be a 50-minute video. Question number 5. Evaluate the War Machine rule set from an intro perspective. We only played with battle groups, right? We did not play with solos. We did not play with units. From an intro perspective, how would you evaluate the War Machine rule set? If you want to give it a 1 to 10 rating before you say it, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. We're going to start with whoever we started with. Has anyone not started yet? Tony!
Of course I always started. I did Flames of War, and I went through Warhammer 40K and Fantasy, and then I went through War Machine. You don't need to crack the game rule book. We didn't have to open this book once, unless we were trying to do something really crazy, like, can I do this crazy thing where I throw this guy, knock this guy over, who will land on the third guy and fall in the water and drown? You don't need to open the core rule book, and if you want to just play this as a tabletop game like Monopoly, you never need to buy this. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you don't. And that's what made it so easy and like the best experience I pretty much had in this kind of game.
Let's go across the table diagonally to John. John, your take.
Yeah, like, it's perfect. Because you can just go to the store, it comes with the rule book, and then all the rules are there. It's like, there's not like, I think Tony touched on it before, there's not race specific to an extreme. It's like, everybody follows these core rules, and then you need to know 5 words. Have fun. And you can add.
There are subtracting.
Yes.
And subtract.
Yes. And if you can't bring a calculator, although I've never seen the issue become more than 2-digit addition and subtraction. Okay.
It can be kind of hard.
Could be. Let's go over to Lexicon. How would you evaluate it?
I liked it. It was crisp. It was clean. It was a good rule set. And we played AT-43. And we played a bunch of other stuff, and I like War Machine the best so far. I really liked it. It was intuitive. It made sense.
Dale?
I'm sure there's something that we haven't come across yet. I'm sure there's a problem in here somewhere, but I haven't seen it yet. So,
Before we get right off the bat, you find
right.
boatload.
I mean,
Boatload.
we sound like fanboys right now. I'm sure there's something wrong, but we didn't come across it
We had
yet.
a good time playing the damn game. That's the point. We had a good time playing the game. I was amazed. I was stunned.
I haven't had this much fun playing a small level 40K game ever.
Yeah.
And no one was stressed. Nobody really cared.
But from my evaluation of the intro rule set, first thing you need to do not go crazy and buy a huge army and think you're going to play it all at once. Start with battle groups. Learn your battle groups left and right before you jump into anything else. In fact, I would argue that, quite honestly, if you have a battle group and you haven't played it at least 15 to 20 times, you're not being creative enough about your mission type. If you need ideas, we're going to be throwing more ideas out there. We just did the Flood. There's another mission, and there's, like, if you go out on the Google and look for War Machine missions, you can find whole huge pages of brand new mission types that all you have to play is the battle group. And it's enough for you to, again, get into the game, fully learn your army before you step into something else. Because I think, quite honestly, that's really the problem with 40K. You can't really enjoy the game until you get it so complex that you are constantly referencing the rules. With War Machine, you can start with an intro box and not feel overwhelmed by having to reference the book.
Expand as you're ready.
Right. In fact, and encourage your other players that are getting into this game. Start small, because I have a feeling this is, as much as I love Warmachine, the problems that I've seen with Warmachine have been at my gaming store when I see people putting out armies of, let's say, what would be in Warmachine 35 points. In 40K, it'd be the equivalent of like 1,500 to 1,750 worth of points. Okay. What?
You can't learn on that.
You can't learn on it. And the tempers flare and everyone gets all ticked off because some new player wants to be. I gotta really edit this whole video.
It's the building.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the ambiance.
So no, but it's really an issue of people trying too hard to match the veteran players who have 50 points of Warmachine. Seem to be where this occurs. So if you're getting into this game, don't rush it. There's plenty of fun to be had at the intro levels and then work your way up. Yeah. So that is what I would say is the only broken issue of the whole set.
And speaking from experience, doremicom told me not to jump the gun on that, and kind of boneheaded. So me and Smurf hooked up over Vassal and we just battled it out. 30 points each. I was drowning the first 10 minutes in. I was just like, what do these guys do again? Huh?
Well, and John...
My caster, I didn't even know what my caster did. I was just like, oh.
You even said when you first played that playing the game live, when you were only dealing with Battle Group, was a far better experience than anything you played thus far, right?
Yeah.
Okay, question number 6. It's of a roundtable discussion. Give a prediction, no matter how outlandish, about Warmachine and its success, your involvement, whatever. You can be about anything about Warmachine. And for this, we're going to start with Tony.
I'm going to say in the next 3 to 5 years, given a 5-year strat plan, I think Warmachine is going to be on GW's level. Size-wise, scope-wise, game-wise, I think the community's behind it, and I think it's going to, it's definitely going to happen.
Let's jump across the table. Dale, what's your prediction?
Well, I've seen this out for a long time. It just needs to be introduced to people. In a few years, yeah, I could see them being a big threat because they've got their ducks in a row. It's survived this long with nobody knowing who it is. Once people know what it is, it's going to be a powerhouse.
Lexicon, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I see them doing real well as long as they maintain what they're doing and don't do anything crazy like bring codex down. BS. As long as they maintain what they're doing, I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to do real well.
John.
Yeah, I think the key point that everybody brought up is a few years. If they try and overstep themselves and try and tackle GW right now, they're going to fail. They're not going to be able to do it. They're going to put too much resources in it, and they're going to disappoint. They have to buy their time, and then when GW is on the floor dying, they're going to step over and be like, hey, we're the new shiny guys for the block. We've been here. We know what you guys want. Come play.
My prediction is that they're either going to succeed handsomely in 2 years or fail miserably, and there's only going to be one reason that they will fail. If they follow GW's steps by creating too many additional miniatures that aren't fully play tested, as well as what we have already seen. If they take up GW's practices thinking that it's a good way for them to head, they're going to alienate all their brand new players that might be joining in right about now when Mark II is in full swing.
I don't see that happening. They've been around for a long time. Dude, they could have went GW's route.
We don't argue people's predictions. All right, guys, this is the end of episode 1 of season 2 of the Roundtable Discussion. Warmachine for the 40K player. I want to give a big thank you to PMs I, who was our cameraman, and step in front of the camera, guys. Check out his channel. We'll give links to everyone's channels when we're done. Thank you so much for joining us for season 2 of the Roundtable Discussion. We're out.